Welcome to 30 Frames a Second. I'm Luciera, and I'll introduce the other ladies in just a moment. Nat, hit it in control room. Welcome to 30 Frames a Second, and we want to say yay, Nat, for our new Takeover Women's Tuesday intro. We kind of miss the old angry people. No, we don't. No, we don't. That was beautiful to have so many beautiful women. Let me introduce my co-hosts and stars of this show. Next to me is Miss Sheila Berry. She's the executive producer of A Gospel Showcase and the producer of Community Cop, and amongst so many other things. She's our reigning mother here to give us all wisdom and keep us in place. Next to her is Miss Nikki West. She's our communications specialist. She's the creator of a Pitful Living. I'm going to get that. And she's an author and just all around communication, just the person we go to when we all need to focus and aim straight. And I might add, leads by example. I love that. Next to her, I know you hear me say this often, but it's true. This woman should not need an intro. This is Veronica Kidd. She's the founder of the People's Film Festival. Woo, 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 woo. Yay. She's the producer and host of the VK Report. You can tell I need a bigger job at the People's Film Festival. Okay. And she's a director, an editor, all-around best friend. Yay. Thank you very much. To me. So welcome to 30 Frames a Second. For those of you who are not familiar with what's happening today, please don't leave us. You're actually going to enjoy this. It may not be as radical as what you're used to, but we get kind of heated. We get heated here, too, in our own ways. We are the women that control the backstage when Nat is out front. Hence the name Takeover Tuesday. We take over once every other month. So this is our Tuesday here. Welcome, ladies.
Yes, good to see you ladies again.
Yes.
I missed you guys.
I know, me too. And holiday.
Yes.
Holiday. Is everyone feeling in the holiday mood? Is it hit you, or Christmas trees up, or Kwanzaa lights, or how many celebrate Kwanzaa as opposed to Christmas? Oh,
yes,
okay.
Yes, I've been celebrating Kwanzaa for 30 years. I'm aging myself. Well,
Was that something that was in your home? Is that what happened?
No, it was just something that I did. I transitioned from Christmas because I wanted to take away the that need behavior. Oh, I want out of my sons. I didn't like that. I want this, and then when they couldn't get it, it's like a disappointment, and I didn't want them to be discouraged or to be let down. And then I said, there's too much commercialization in Christmas. Let's try Kwanzaa, which has meaning. If I'm going to give, let that gift be
What is the
meaningful.
biggest difference? Tell us more about Kwanzaa for those who are not.
Personally, I think it really is the commercialization. The fact that here it is Christmas, people are spending hundreds and thousands of dollars, if even, on shopping and buying toys and celebrating Santa Claus, which of course is a myth. And
well, that's what I thought you were going to say. My friends who went to Kwanzaa wanted to tell their kids, there is no over white Caucasian man coming to give you
no
gifts.
Santa.
There's not,
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so, and then that was the other thing. And then I want them to really appreciate the coming together as family. The whole concept of cooperative economics, everyone working and sharing and buying amongst themselves, the creative aspect, creativity, the fact that now you can make your own gift and give it to me. And I love that when they write me cards and poems. I love that more so than a gift, because it's difficult to surprise me. But I wanted to do that. So every year I started celebrating it on, like, transitioning them at age 5. So then the next day, Christmas is 25th, the next day was the beginning of Kwanzaa, the 26th. So I would have my feast. So I would invite everyone over, all the families for years. People wouldn't see me for an entire year, and they know on the 26th I am cooking dinner, even though you're supposed to have it on the last day, which is,
what is the last day?
The last day is faith. You just threw me.
That's okay. How many
Imani.
days is there of
It's 7
Kwanzaa?
days, yes.
Oh, okay.
And so on the last day is when you have your big celebration, but I do it on the first day, only to help family and friends transition into.
Are there any specific foods that are served, or traditional foods, or it's everything just like we do for Christmas?
Yeah, it is. I generally cook the basic foods that people are accustomed to, the collard greens and the candy yams, and But it's been positive for me, for me and my family, and just important to have that transition in my life,
Oh, does
to
anyone
get away
else?
from
And just to
Kwanzaa.
piggyback on what Veronica is saying, someone sent me a link for a Kwanzaa crawl. So, like, within our community, even the younger people now are getting involved with Kwanzaa. And I think the founder of the Kwanzaa crawl was founded last year.
Cool.
And she's Guyanese, Trinidadian, I think. I don't know her name exactly, but if you go on Instagram or you just hashtag Kwanzaa Crawl, it starts the 26th. And first it started in Bed-Stuy, where they're patronizing black-owned businesses, and they do a crawl to all the businesses in that neighborhood, and they go to the bars and the salons and they patronize them. And now it's expanded to Harlem this year, and it starts the 26th. So if you can do hashtag Kwanzaa Crawl, you'll see the tickets are selling right now if the tickets aren't already sold out.
Oh, they
because
charge?
last year the ticket sold out because you're patronizing the businesses.
But you purchase a ticket, and when you take it in, you get a discount or something?
No, you drink free, you eat free once you purchase the ticket.
Really? How much is
Yes.
that?
You have to go on
Wow.
go on Instagram and do hashtag Kwanzaa
That's
Crawl.
different. I never heard of
Yes,
that.
and
Yeah.
they're doing it on the 26th, and it's a young black woman who's of Caribbean descent that just decided that she wanted to do something within our community, and within a year, she's expanded to Harlem. So kudos to her.
Yeah, that's good.
Excellent.
Good for her, because one of the things that we don't do is patronize our businesses,
I know.
and that's one of the things that
know.
we have
I know.
to do. It should be free for me because of the fact that Kwanzaa represents not spending monies and things like that, especially if you're trying to share in whatever it is that you have to offer. But I mean, if that's what she has to do, Kwanzaa was started in 1967 by Dr. Malana Karenga, and one of the reasons why he did it is because of the fact that we did not have positivity in our communities, and it was like a loss for a lot of people. And and of course, he wanted to take that out of our children. Those behaviors: I want to buy, selling. But it has become so commercialized today. Like they even have stamps. I remember I saw a Kwanzaa stamp with Mickey Mouse on it, and I'm like, what is going on here? But I mean, if this is what it takes for people to embrace it. Originally, they said it was for us, Black African American people. Now everyone shares in Kwanzaa. But if this is what it takes to bring people in to do this, then okay, so be it. But originally, the thought was for African American people to have a day or a week, if you will, to share amongst themselves, to create family and bring positivity back into your communities. So with the 7 principles, 7 days, and
I love that.
Yeah. But I agree that Kwanzaa, or the thought of Kwanzaa, is needed for the people, and especially our people. But I strongly believe that the real meaning of Christmas is to say, and we realize he was born in October, but that time was appointed to say, Happy Birthday, Jesus.
He was born on Christmas?
No.
Oh, okay.
In October.
In October.
Right,
We celebrated
We
it.
celebrate. That's the
it.
appointed time that we choose to celebrate it, to know and to acknowledge that he came down and born through a virgin to save us all. And that meaning should be pushed forth. Well, why do you give? You don't have to go out and spend money, just like Kwan said. You make something. I've often told the story. Well, I've never believed in Santa Claus. I lived on 24 West 118th Street between 5th and Lenox in a walk-up, and I could not visualize any fat white man coming down a chimney. And we didn't have a chimney. It just wasn't right. So my mother said, since you're so grown, you can go ahead and play with your toys, since you don't believe in Santa Claus. But my children, my grandchildren, and my great-grandchildren, I told them the truth. They know the real meaning. The children at various churches that I go to, you have to ask the parents, may I tell them the meaning of, the real meaning, and take the Santa Claus out? Because Santa Claus is a big rip-off for the children. Maybe one day, way in the past, in the 1700s, somebody named St. Nicholas existed, but it wasn't in our community. It wasn't for us. But Jesus existed where we came from. A lot of people think he's white, but he's not. He existed over there in Bethlehem, Jerusalem, all those areas where we're at.
So good. Then so it's
There's
acceptable.
no Santa
But let me
Claus.
ask you something. So Kwanzaa was never based on anything religious.
No,
Oh,
not
okay.
religious. It was
Just
based
give-
on first fruits of the harvest, like in Africa in Swahili. It's a key Swahili word, and it's Kwanzaa. A. They added the additional A so that we can have 7 principles. So that's how you have the 7 candles. You got the red, 6 red, 3 red, 3 green, 1 black. It was when the harvest, they had the harvest, the first fruits of that for that year, and that was the celebration. So he took that concept and he applied it to here. Kwanzaa, the celebration of our first fruits, and but no, it's not a religious base, which is kind of important to me. I don't particularly follow religion per se, even though I do firmly believe my faith is in God, and I don't particularly care for so many of these holidays that, you know, they call them pagan holidays. I don't particularly care for these holidays because a lot of times it's misconstrued, and I feel as though we're disenfranchised very often because you have families that don't have to buy, to spend, or spending unnecessarily when you don't necessarily have. So then it's like, why do it? You know, to fit into this.
Let's talk about that, Nikki. How do you suggest a parent who can't afford that new Xbox whatever approach that with a child? How would they sit down and try to explain that this household is this? How would you?
Well, you have to be age appropriate about it. You have to know where your child is and what they can receive and understand. My son, he's a teenager, so he's aware of where we are in the household, whether we could go out and afford those things or whether we can't.
So being honest up front.
Being honest with your child based on their age and letting them know, like, you know, it's a holiday, it's once a year, and it's really about family and really teaching them what's the true meaning. I agree with Sheila, teaching them the true meaning and letting them know it's not about gift giving. Yes, the gift giving is a plus, but it's about family, it's about unity, it's about coming together, and it's about you giving of yourself, especially within your community. So what I do with my son is just go around and we cook. We open up our home. Like for Thanksgiving, I cooked, my neighbor cooked, and they came upstairs and we had a nice potluck and we shared with each other. So that's what I'm more instilling. And when you instill those things from young, they're not
and throughout
looking
the year.
And throughout the year, they're not Christmas time, they hand out. And it's funny because my son was watching, I think, Bonks TV, and they were asking the little kids what's their favorite holiday. And a lot of them were saying Halloween because of the candy, but the majority of the children were saying Christmas. And they were asking them why Christmas, and it's because of all the gifts, all the presents. And my son said, wow, Mom, they don't even know the true meaning of Christmas. And that's when I knew my job as a parent was done, because he himself understood and pointed it out that they're just about receiving and not about giving. But how can they know that if we, the adults, are not passing that message?
I'm going to piggyback what you just said. So if mom and dad, the rent is late, the Con Ed is in somebody else's name that may or may not be turned off, but every week I'm at the hair salon with a $600 new hairdo. Every week I'm getting the nails done. Every week, I think we set an example. I think kids nowadays don't want to hear, do what I say and not as I do. So when you say, let's sit down and have a budget, oh God, if I could take a moment and just thank my mom and dad on a personal note. I hated Fridays. I hated Fridays more than anything because my father made me get every one of his checks from cutting grass. And there would be like maybe 3 a day to 5 a day. So for an entire week, that Friday, I had to add up all the checks. Then I had to see the bills. I had to write the checks and tell my dad, this is how much you made. This is how much the bills are. This is how much they're going to cost. This is what's left in the bank. I had to do that every single Friday that I could remember. I remember my mother saying, we're going to go to the grocery store, and for every $1 you save, we're going to put it in a fund for your modeling school, for your ballet classes, for your things. Yes, we shopped at Salvation Army, and all the kids would always say, Lou, where you get your clothes from? Yours is so different. But my mother could take a Salvation Army dress, starch a piece of ribbon, tie it around my neck, add wire to it, take the same wire, the same ribbon, starch it, tie a bow, and tape it and glue it on my shoe so it would match, make me a bun in the back, and give me a pair of her pearl earrings. And I would rock it. But I would go to the grocery store and say, Mom, if we buy this cereal today, we're going to save $3.50 in the next 2 weeks. She would say, $3.50 go in your fund. Right. So that's what I learned even to this day. I budget. I take the bus to the airport as opposed to taking a taxi. And I do those things because they were taught. Those values were taught.
They were passed down. And those things are the things that your children can take with you. There's a 10-year-old who committed suicide from bullying. How does a 10-year-old know how to take their life? That was my first question. What does a 10-year-old really know about taking their life and suicide from bullying? And the things fade away, but the values, the morals and the values and the strength that we instill in our children are more important going forward than the things. Because they can have the things and they're still unhappy. They can have the things and still going through bullying and all those things.
May come and go.
And they will come and go. But who you are as that individual, and the morals and the values that you have will always stay with you.
But why does those things have to be on Christmas Day or with those? Because as far as I'm concerned, when my kids need something, they have it. So if there's a toy or something like that they want, I'm going to give it to them then. Like even with birthdays, it's my birthday, and these children, they walk around, it's my birthday, adults, it's my birthday, so that people can give them. I don't like that. Every day you wake up is your birthday. Every day you take a breath of air. When you need something, it's provided for you. So why does it have to be one particular day? You have some kids that I know they have this double edge, whereas their birthday is on like November 24th, and then Christmas, and so they gotta wait for gifts.
I have a cousin whose birthday is Christmas Eve.
My nephew is December 21st.
Yeah, so then why do we have to wait for this particular day in order to give and celebrate our young? If they need something, give it to them. Why do we have to wait for that particular day?
We don't.
We've been conditioned to think that's what we have to do.
That's just me. I don't like children that says, hi, it's my birthday, and then now you got to give them something or whatever.
Okay, I just want to say you are absolutely right, but I'm guilty of that. I tell everybody I tell everybody.
Nobody, I don't tell people when my birthday. I keep it a secret. Sometimes it'll come and go and nobody will know.
But if we don't, I've seen some people who don't believe in any holidays or celebrating any holidays, but they celebrate something.
I don't celebrate any holiday. I'll celebrate Kwanzaa just because of family, but that's it.
You celebrate something.
But to be honest, I wouldn't do anything because every day I give, every day I do, every day whatever it is need is provided for, and so therefore your life is filled. Not for one particular day, but every day. So I don't know. I maybe I shouldn't be a part of this. But that's how you socialize.
We have a choice, and your choice is Kwanzaa. But we all celebrate something. There's something special that we celebrate. It may not be a holiday, but it's something that's special to you.
Let's talk about that moving forward with
Mother's Day, maybe.
With needs coming to the new year. During this holiday period, moving forward with the political atmosphere being such the way it is, I believe there's an open, just unlatch of evil and racism that is just so abundant and rapid now. Moving forward into the new year, should people be planning? If so, what kind of plans? Moving forward, what are some thoughts on that?
Moving forward, for me, I have basically been in a bubble. Since I started this journey with Pipful Living over the summer, I have really just disconnected and really, like I shared with you ladies, turned inward. Because it's so much coming at you externally, sometimes you just need that reprieve to regroup and really figure out who you are You know, every day we're branding ourselves. Some people intentionally brand, and some people just, they don't even know what they're doing, but this is what you're saying about yourself because of what you say, what you do, and how you carry yourself. You know, so we're branding ourselves every day, even when we don't intentionally do it. But my thing right now is to intentionally brand yourself. What is it you're selling? And who do you want to attract? What do you want to attract? Whether it's a spouse, whether it's wealth, whether it's healthy living, whether it's just being a better you. How are you doing those things, and how are you branding yourself to attract? Law of attraction. What you give out is what you get in your return. It's just like when you sow. You know, you reap what you sow. So how you're branding yourself. And, you know, just going into the new year, we all have like New Year's resolutions. And we fall short. We fail. Once you set up a New Year's resolution, you're setting yourself up for failure.
I don't believe in those. I don't believe in
those.
So,
you know, turning inwardly is like a new you resolution. You can be more successful when you're intentionally branding yourself and you're intentionally saying, you know what? I want to have a better me. I want to send better positive energy out into the world. So it's more, you're setting yourself up to be more successful when you intentionally say, I want to have a new me resolution, as opposed to a new year resolution. So those are some things from Pipful Living that, you know, I share with other people, and I share with you guys that, you know, we can be more successful. So we have to learn how to set ourselves up for success.
So is it wrong if someone says, like myself, I don't celebrate nothing, and I really don't care what people say, whether I do or not? So then it's not, you know,
it can't
the majority
be wrong
of the people.
If it's right for
right,
you.
exactly.
It can't be wrong
so then,
if it's
yeah,
right for
yeah,
you.
Right. You don't necessarily have to do any of that, but yet you're still fulfilled.
Right, and that's the part about turning inward.
But the
What's
same
best
thing you
for
said,
you?
like New Year's, how people say, oh, you know, you do your New Year's resolution, and you set yourself up for failure. It can equally be applied to like a Christmas. You set yourself up for failure because you thought you had a budget of $500, and yet you only got $100 because you had to pay those bills.
That's right.
Failure. So why do it? That doesn't mean that we don't honor and appreciate and respect in our families and celebrate them.
Because unlike you, they feel the pressure and necessity to people please.
Right.
If they were strong enough to say, we don't do that in this house, sweetheart. In this household, mommy loves you every single day. And she shows you by paying Con Edison, by making sure you have a hot meal and lunch and clean clothing and a safe place to live. That's what mommy does because they feel as if they have to keep up with the Joneses, and their friends will talk about them, or worse. Their kids aren't strong enough to be with the other kids who are getting that $800 sneaker. So they feel as if, let me go in debt, let me do things. That's why.
But I do it all the time. And the funny thing is that I just recently got some tablets for the babies, and then my mom down in Virginia, she has these neighbors who have 2 kids, and they're the sweetest, and they're very helpful to her. So I gave her the tablets as well, and the mother said, well, I'm going to put it up for Christmas. I'm like, why? Give it to them now. He says, well, he uses mine. I said, okay, when he breaks yours, you know, so why wait? Give it to him now. And this is like October, so this boy has to wait 2 months. October, was it 3 months?
Can I just say, in no way we're bashing people who wants to celebrate and who wants to buy.
Well, it depends on your religion, because some religions don't celebrate.
You know, if you can afford to do it, each household is different. We're just speaking about putting yourself, if you cannot do it, don't feel pressured to do it. If you can, God bless you, do it.
Send me something.
But is there a lot of hype
under the tree?
Is there a lot of hype behind Christmas because of the fact, because it's a tradition that
but that's where the foundation comes from.
Don't forget our black Jews that behind Hanukkah also.
Right.
But when you go to Thanksgiving, this is why we have to have a strong sense of self and a strong foundation. And a strong sense of self and a strong foundation comes from looking inward instead of outward.
But if we look
So
at these
if you're
historical things, Thanksgiving, I'm sorry
I
to cut
know.
you off,
These
but
pilgrims
historically,
saying they
yeah,
discovered
yep.
and they
But
didn't, they were Indian.
I'm just using that to say everything is commercialized.
Yes,
now.
yes.
It's the Thanksgiving, you're not looking at Thanksgiving as family and friends coming out. You're looking at Thanksgiving like Black Friday. We're going to get out there and shop and get those
Black Friday
deals.
I've never been anywhere.
And
Ooh,
all
you
those
gotta do
things.
Black Friday
No,
one
thank
day.
You
you.
know,
No, thank
I
you.
did it once,
Black-
and once was all
enough for
it
you?
What was your? Oh my God!
Never
Let me
did.
tell
I
you,
went out there like 3 a.m. in the morning, and I was just like, why are you out here
What are you
at
doing
3
here?
a.m.?
How
Let me
you
tell
living?
you, I
How you
concluded
living?
it's
Morning.
Black Friday because you're in the parking lot in the dark and you get out your car. Now you go into the store and you're running into people. It's pitch black. There's no lights. I said, "Oh, this is Black Friday." Black. Oh my God! But it was one of the best experiences I've had.
Okay, that's
I
just cray-cray.
loved it.
All
I
right.
did.
I want to
but
say,
I won't do it again. No.
Let's be sure also at this time that we remember a new year. Let's try new things.
Yes.
I'm just really big on trying new things. Take up a new hobby. I have friends who were going through depression or loneliness, and I just stress volunteering. Each one of them, I'm not exaggerating, 3 different friends have now come back and said, "Wow, Lou, I've made friends who are like-minded."
Wow.
If you volunteer at an animal place that works with animals, you're going to meet other people who love animals. Then you have that in common, and I love your animal. Oh, my animal and your animal can do this, so let's have a. So volunteer.
Another thing, if I can piggyback off of you, people in my age group, I noticed they're stuck on doing certain things like those senior citizen centers where they're just doing arts and crafts, and then eventually you don't see these people after a year or so. And I noticed in my complex, they refuse to be called for good reasons, because these are people that have careers and so much still to offer to others. And they said, "Oh no, we're the gems and the gents." I took it to a different level because I come down here and I feel that I'm youthful to what I'm doing, and I'm telling others, you're a seasoned citizen because you're seasoned with knowledge, you're seasoned with love,
I like
you're
that.
seasoned with experience. Pass it on to those who are younger than you. I tell them upstairs at the fishbowl, when you walk in my path or my way, you're my child too. In my presence.
I agree, but
mother.
give them some practicals on how they can pass it along. The first thing that comes to my brain is tutoring,
Yes.
and things like that. They can volunteer to tutor. There's so many. Even if they just put up a sign where they come to the parents' home, the person doesn't come to their place, but they could tutor in something. They can volunteer to read, maybe at a hospital.
Yes. My book club
Hospitals.
did that with
Book club where they read.
Isabella Nursing Home in Washington Heights. My book club, we rotated. Luana did it, came out and participated, and they loved it. And that's something that I need to just revisit and start again. The only aspect of it that I didn't like, because I wanted to bring my son with me, but they were saying you had to be like 15 and older. But I was just like, it's so much could be said for a seasoned senior to sit with a 9-year-old, an 8-year-old, a 10-year-old.
Yes, that's
And the
amazing.
stories and the wealth of knowledge. We had authors. We had a literature professor. She loved when we came because she was just like, oh my goodness, it's making my brain, just the wheels turn again. She was just to be in the presence of us, it gave them new life. So that's something that we all can, if you have a book club, go to a nursing home, find out which nursing home, children's book club, and match them to a senior. So much. A wealth of
beautiful
knowledge
thing.
can be passed on.
Plus, there's so much of divorce. I call myself a widower now, just for the fun of it. But I was divorced at 30 years old. And it's so much that I've learned. I've learned about marriage and, what you're supposed to do and not supposed to do, what can make a marriage really last, even though mine was a failure. What about these women in their 20s, 30s, 40s, who really need talking to? Say, for instance, if a husband cheated on her, and she says, I feel like a fool. You have to remind this woman, this is just a small example, you're not a fool. He was your husband, not her husband. Or this young man, she was your wife, not his wife. And you teach about forgiveness and different things to help them move on with their lives. And this would help them even be better parents on keeping the family together, keeping themselves together. And there would be, if people would
No,
reach
Sheila,
out,
it's not so much what we would teach them, because I agree, but let's give some practicals on how would they find these people who need help. If so, yes, somebody has that knowledge. How would they find these people who need that knowledge?
in your daily travels, going to church, anywhere. You never could tell who you can run into just walking down the street. It has happened to me so many times, and others. Anywhere. There is no specific place that you can run into help where you can go and give help. Any place.
Yeah, but you have to show yourself friendly too.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm going to suggest, though, that there are some things you can do. For instance, I have friends who Googled. They Googled seminars for divorced women.
Wow.
There was a ministry that's open to everyone, but their seminars were incredible. And you came to a free seminar, and then if you stayed, they gave you practicals on how to get over what it meant, and they assigned a person to you who had to be a registered psychologist, who had nothing, that you could just go to dinner with, lunch with, and they were yours for up to 3 months. So I'm going to go a little farther and say Google things. You can put in, for instance, today, I put in activities that are free in New York State, and things came up. Learn to snowboard for free. Learn to ski. A Frosty Festival free, a Gilded Age Christmas free, Animal Adventure Jungle event free. All of these things that if you just Google can come up on the internet. So let's use the computer for something other than shopping at home and put in activities. And again, whether it be something free you're doing with your family, making new memories. Memories are so important. Memories are so important. Or whether it's learning a new activity yourself. I went this summer for the first time and did dancing in, it's not Rockefeller Center, but it's
Lincoln
Center. They had free dancing. And one Thursday night, one was samba. One was country western. One was disco.
Swing?
Yes, one was swing, and it was free and so much fun. And I met other people who just wanted to have fun and free. And I was
they
like,
have
oh my
opera
God, why
shows
don't
out
people
there as
want to-
well. There's a wealth of things going on that's free if we just utilize technology the way it was meant to be utilized, you know, for information and sharing and connecting instead of spewing hate.
I want to add to what you were saying previously as far as what we can do, and you said volunteer, but what I do is give, donate, always giving back. There are someone, you know, they've had coat drives. I had a coat drive in my building, and I put a big giant box, and everybody in the building just pile that box, because one of the things we forget is that there are so many people out there that don't have.
Oh, would be so happy to be in your place.
Yeah, or just don't have in general. So when we think about giving, the gift of giving is cyclical. It comes back to you. So you give, and who knows, years down the line, not saying that you're waiting and looking for someone to give you, but years down the line, all of a sudden something
Give me
comes
that
to you,
word
like
again, Veronica.
cyclical?
Cyclical. That's my new word.
But it comes back. Yes, it is full circle, and it's the power. It's a power that is in there, in which it comes as a give and receive, and
But it's biblical what you're saying. You reap what you sow.
Yes,
When you
yes.
sow, when you plant a seed, guess what? When it's time to harvest, you might not see it right away because like a farmer or a gardener, when you plant the seed has to be in the dirt, the roots have to
Nourished.
sprout, it has to give birth.
Growth, the sun.
And then when it sprouts, that
Yeah.
one seed from a grape would produce a grapevine, would produce a tree that's producing oranges. So it's biblical.
Yes, yes.
When you give, you receive. It's better to give than to receive, because when you automatically give, it automatically comes back to you.
Gratitude is the secret to success. I will say it every single time, all
Wow.
day long. I will say it. Every time I feel myself being sad, remotely depressed,
Yes.
I say to myself, the next 5 people you meet, you will encourage.
Wow.
And I get totally out of it. I take myself out of me, and I think it's the best way to fight what I call the enemy. I believe in
Wow.
dark and light, and
Yes.
I truly believe the best way to get out of feeling anything woe is me,
Yes.
is to uplift somebody else. It'll be the first people I see on the street.
'Cause
Oh my
it
God,
makes you
your hair
feel
is
good.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, I love your dress. Your smile is rocking me. I'll just do that. And when I
Yeah.
see someone else feel good, I automatically
It uplifts you.
automatically
It's funny.
feels
I
good.
drive down sometimes. I think it's on the Bruckner. There's a big giant sign that says gratitude. I don't know who put it there, but that uplifts me. When I see this, like, wow, it makes you remember why are you here and what is your purpose, or what is it that you want to do, just in general.
Pipful living.
Yes, hello.
What do you give back?
Exactly.
What do you give
What
back?
do you
I
give back?
thoroughly believe if you don't give back, you took up space. I believe that, and I hate people who take up space. What did you give back to?
Yeah,
Who did you
right.
give
Yeah.
back to?
It's about
Interesting.
passion. It's about purpose. It's about intent. It's about paying it forward.
Paying it
Gratitude.
forward.
Gratitude is pipful living.
Yes.
Living in your passion, your purpose, living with intent, and paying it forward. And it's about, at this juncture in your life, whether it's for the new year, that's what I'm saying. It's not about a new year resolution. You can enact a new year resolution at any
Anytime.
juncture, at any point in time in your life. And you can sit down and do that life appraisal and say, what am I giving in order to attract? What do I need to do? Where am I in life? We do it with jobs. Every 6 months to a year, you have a job appraisal so you can get feedback. Your life appraisal is giving yourself feedback at how well you have been doing at life, and whether it's time to hit that reset button, and why you want to hit that reset button to that new you resolution.
And let's remember the definition of insanity. To keep doing the same thing and expect a different outcome.
result.
If you are doing the same thing this time last year, was doing the same thing that you're doing now, and it's not working for you, just put the pride aside long enough to visit what could I do differently to get what I want. Don't be afraid to find mentors. My mentors have helped me so much
You
to
ladies
find
have helped
people
me.
you look up and you say, now I love this person is happy. This person is successful, not always financially, but they are truly
Yeah.
happy. How do you do that? How does that work for you? And let them bounce things off. I'm feeling this way. Did you think of this? Actually, I didn't. Wow, I never thought of that. Have people in your life that you look up to and you can ask for advice, and don't be afraid to.
It's funny. I just did a Dietrich's Sister Talk show, and one of the things that they mentioned was that we need to have more women's group in which we're able to come together to dialogue, to talk, because we have shared interests, shared values. These are things that sometimes when you hold it in, you don't know that someone else may be going through that same thing. Sometimes it's important to talk.
Oh,
Someone else
very.
can get you through
Very.
it. So I think it's really important to have these supportive groups.
That's why you can't leave yourself isolated. When you start sinking into depression, the best thing you can do for yourself is to get around happy people. Because the minute you sit in that house alone, your mind.
Insanity.
Your mind gets away from you, and your mind starts telling you things, and then you start believing those things
Yeah,
because
'cause
it's
you don't
just
have no
you
feedback. There's
and your
nobody-
mind.
Yes,
That's it.
yes,
You know,
yes.
so
And
you
the
need
good
to have
side.
people around you that could really uplift you and can speak life into you. Because when I'm going through my things, I come and I can feed off of your energy, your smile, just your bouncy nature. You're just very lively. And then you with the People's Film Festival, and you're just pushing through, and you're your quiet
so
soul.
creative.
And then Miss Berry here with a word of upliftment and a smile on her face, you know. And I hope you guys get something from me
Absolutely.
equally as well, you know. And that's where not only the sisterhood but the community, because there are a lot of
Exactly.
men out there too who go through their changes and they feel that because they're a man that they have to go it alone. No, you don't have to go it alone. You can find another brother, you can find a woman that you trust, a mentor, someone in leadership, someone spiritual that can speak life into, that could uplift you and say, no, brother, you don't have to go it alone. Like, here's my shoulder. You know, but we have to create that safe space. And part of creating that safe space, because going back to the sisterhood and having more things with organizations, what you will hear a lot of women say is a lot of backbiting and, you know, people not getting along. But when you have a sense of self and you know that you're unique in your own right and you have your own purpose and your own assignment, you can sit amongst other women and feel confident in your own right, and you won't have to backbite. You won't have to cut each other down. You will only find upliftment because everyone knows that they're unique and they bring something unique to the table, and you don't have to feel threatened by your success. And I have to congratulate Lou. I am so proud of you, Miss Universe. I saw you at the forefront, and you did an amazing job. And I have to say this on air because you're very humble. You're very humble about what you do, and I appreciate that humility about you. Why I want to highlight and say, I can sit next to Lou. I can sit next to Veronica. I can sit next to Miss Sheila, and I can sit here in my own right as Nikki West and give you that praise and lift you up, because I know I bring something unique to the table as well.
Yeah, you were fierce.
Thank you.
And every person you predicted, or you said, well, I like her. Well, I think she's okay. Every person that you mentioned was actually chosen, and then you even predicted. You said, no, I'm in with South Africa, and yeah, you were awesome.
For our viewer audience that may not understand what we're talking about, I had the privilege of being one of the backstage co-hosts at the Miss Universe beauty pageant 3 weeks ago.
Thanksgiving
in
weekend.
Vegas, Thanksgiving weekend, yes.
So but you are also, you trained them as well.
I did.
Yes,
I did.
yes.
I choreographed. You know what's really funny? Again, I'll introduce everybody here and forget to introduce myself.
She didn't introduce herself.
Hi, my name is Luciera. Okay. Anyway, thank you. Thank you. That means an awful lot.
Let me ask a question. So we're talking all of this great stuff, but one of the things that I always grapple with is forgiveness. Now, Sheila mentioned about relationships and everything, and you should go. But if someone does you wrong, why should you forgive them?
For you.
But why? For me, I didn't do it. You did it. So
for your blessing.
But why is that a blessing?
When
so then that's what I need to know. Because I don't, like, there's not like a lot of negative things going on with me. But that I take personally. You did it. You hold it. Why I gotta...
No, you're not taking it away from them.
Let them.
You're not excusing them. You think forgiving them is excusing them.
Okay. And I'm glad you said that word. Yeah.
That is not excusing and saying.
Because I asked that to T.D. Jakes. And he wrote the book about forgiveness, and I told him, I said, well, I don't forgive nobody. He said, oh, no. He said, you need to read my chapter 8. I haven't read it yet. But as I began to read, I was like, oh, he's really saying some things here.
When you hold on to unforgiveness, that spews in you.
Right. But if you're in a relationship and he did you dirty,
you're not to allow him to do it again. That's not saying I'm gonna stay here.
I forgive you for cheating on me.
No, I just came out from something like that, right? And we were together for a year, and he presented himself to be something, and he turned out to not be who he claimed to be, who he presented himself to be. And as you know, as men and women, we have to, action speaks louder than words. You can tell me, you can speak a good game, but what are your actions following that up? And in me sitting and observing him, his actions was not matching his words. But I just sat back and I just prayed about it, and I was just like, Lord, If we're going to move forward, we're going to move forward. But if he's not for me, reveal. And the revelation came within days of that prayer. But because I was ready to receive honestly, what he was doing didn't break me. And then another day I was doing my devotions and I was there and it came to me and it said, text him and let him know that you're not upset with him, that you forgive him, and that you wish him all the happiness he deserved. You realize what I said, all the happiness he deserved. Not I just wish you all the happiness that you deserve from the energy you put out there, let it come back to you deservingly.
But does that get him off the hook?
No, it doesn't. Like Lou said, it's not excusing, because during my prayer, and that's the thing about prayer and devotions, when you really sit and pray, it reveals things that you're holding on to. And we may not think that that seed that we're holding on to is not sprouting a root. But once you're holding on to that seed, it starts sprouting root, and those roots can start running deep. And then you won't realize the effects of that one seed until it's like maybe too late. So like Lou said, you're not excusing it, but it's for you.
Forgiveness
But
is
it
not for
gives
the other
him
person.
freedom to go and do
No,
it.
it doesn't.
You
No, it
let
doesn't.
him know that he did you dirty.
Veronica,
And
you
so
know and
therefore
you
he
still
will walk
forgive.
around and always feel.
But just one moment, please. Just one moment,
Miss
please.
Barry, go.
No, okay, let me explain
You're gonna
myself.
pay.
Let me explain it to you. Remember, I was talking about the husband and the wife, because in situations where there was infidelity, a woman, I have said it, I feel like such a fool. I'm not the fool because I was his wife. She wasn't. There's something special about matrimony that separates you. Or if it was a man, that was his wife. He was the husband. He is not the fool. The other man is the fool. Now, when it come around to boyfriend, girlfriend, that's how I call it, or your it's significant other or whatever, and he's cheating on you, of course, I forgive you. You did what you had to do. I hope it was good. Bye. And you don't hold that. You let it go and you move on.
You gotta move on.
But let me
That's for sure. You gotta move, because
You
if you don't,
have to.
but I don't let them ever forget. That's it. You're never gonna.
That's not letting yourself forget. No,
never ever forget.
No.
They remember
That's it.
what
That
they
means,
did. We're all
that means you're
responsible
still.
for ourselves.
No, but you know what?
wanna
Right
get
now, I don't
even.
have
You wanna get
anything
even. That's what
that
it
I'm
is.
holding on to anybody that. But that's just my position in terms of, if you did wrong, you're gonna pay and you're gonna remember.
But
It's not your job.
It's
for
not
that.
my job. You did it to
Your
me.
job.
Not my job.
No,
No.
Not
because
my job to make you pay.
Your
Going back
job
to
is
my
to make
own
yourself
situation.
happy.
Yes.
Right, going back to my own situation,
Okay.
after I sent him that text message, he started sending me, because he thought, like you said, it doesn't mean that I'm coming back to you.
No.
It doesn't mean that I'm excusing,
He
but
thought
that's
he
how
got away.
That's how
He thought he got
interpreted
away,
it.
yeah.
Because he started responding
you're a
and saying,
sucker.
let's
Yeah.
hang out.
Yeah.
And
No,
we're not.
no.
Me, what I had to say was me telling you that I forgive you.
But
and
why
I'm
do
not
you gotta tell him?
harboring-
Don't tell
And
him.
I'm not harboring ill will.
That's for us.
But
I
you,
told
but
my
if you can say
ex-husband
that within
for
yourself
me.
and say, you know what, that's okay, I'm good. But you don't tell him. Let him walk around and.
But that's what I tried to do when I got
You
convicted.
still
Let
want
him
him
walk
to hurt.
around and
Yeah,
feel that.
I don't- but
Let-
that shows
but
your
but
level of hurt.
I forgive
your
him within
level
myself.
of hurt.
He doesn't need to
Yes.
know.
I don't want him to hurt.
Every time he walks past me, he's going to remember.
I
"Damn,
don't want
did her
him to
wrong."
hurt.
No,
No. Hurt me,
No.
but I don't want him to hurt.
but that's.
I can stand in
Okay.
my right that I did the right thing, and I can hold my head up, because when he looks at me, he can't look me in my eye.
No.
Okay.
Because I know I did not do what I did because he did something to me. That's giving that person too much
No.
control.
Yes.
Somebody cheated on
How
you.
is that giving
So
him-
now I'm going
Yes.
to use my body now
Yeah.
to go sleep with another man
No.
because you
Hold on.
slept with
No,
a woman.
Veronica, when you hold on to those things, you holding on to something.
Yeah.
When you let forgiveness
But
is
you
not for
let
the
go.
first
You
person.
don't need to tell him that you let go, right?
Forgiveness has nothing to do with the other person.
No, you don't
It
have to tell
doesn't.
them you let go.
Forgiveness is all
It's
for
for
you.
you.
All right, well, it's going to take me a
all
minute
for
to
you.
get it
But
then,
also
because
talking
You
about
don't have
yeah.
let it
talking
go.
about cheating or abusive relationship?
No, we're just
Anything.
talking just
I'm
in
talking for
general.
anything,
Just in
everything.
general.
If you did
I've
dirt,
been
you're gonna
hurt
pay.
so much. You know what?
That's wrong.
why what's on the inside comes out on the outside. That's why when you let go of things, I'm doing it for my skin to
Me
glow.
too.
I'm doing it for my
But I
health.
got all of that. I'm
doing,
good.
I'm doing
But
it to
you know
walk
what?
around and say, you know what? My conscience. I have a clear
Yes.
conscience before God and before men
Yes.
because I know when
But you
I
had the
search my
clear
heart,
conscience anyway.
They're not
He's
saying
the one
be
that did the
friends.
dirt.
They're
So
not
what?
a clear conscience when
It
you want them
is.
to
What's
pay
the
every day of their life. If
No,
God
he's
looked at
gonna
man
pay
that
when
way,
he's because he knows that he
But wait
did
a minute.
somebody dirty. Let
What's-
me tell you because look, when you think about relationships and you think about men that cheat, it's women that allow them to come in to do the cheating or whatever, and vice versa. If we stop that
But that's
and
a
they
whole
know that
nother
they can't cross
conversation,
that
though.
boundary, then they won't do it.
No, that's a whole nother conversation. You're mixing two things
No,
up.
I'm not mixing
You're mixing
two,
the cheating
because
with
no,
forgiveness.
because
If we're-
no, why
if we're
would you
talking
forgive?
about forgiveness
If you
across
didn't
the
forgive, then
board.
he knows that he can't do it to the next person because the next person is
he'll
not going
do
to
it to
forgive
the
either.
He'll do it to whomever he wants
If
to.
he's that
until
kind of
he
But if
says
it's
that's
a bunch of
not
people
good.
A
that
liar's
says, you
gonna
know
lie.
what, I'm not going to, you know what, you're not coming this way, it's not
a
happening.
liar is going to lie, even if that person leave because they lie, and that person leave
Well, I'm
because
just,
they lie.
I'm just
and
throwing
that
it out
person
there. I'm
leave.
just throwing it out. I'm good, but I'm just saying, you know,
And that's why
it's going to take a
God,
minute.
that's why
Question.
God is not like man, because when we go before God and ask for forgiveness for our transgressions,
forgives
and
us.
we're no matter how many times we
we've
ask for
done it.
forgiveness, no
He
matter
does
how
it
many
every
times
time.
we do what we're not supposed to do,
He does.
Once we ask for forgiveness, we get it. So how can
Yeah.
we say we're going before God for our transgressions when we can't even forgive one person?
Forgive him
of
for
their
what? He did the dirt.
transgressions? Okay, God could say that to you
That's
too.
what
You
you're
did the dirt.
forgiving.
You
That's
you
what you're
Forgive him
sinned.
for being dirty?
Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah.
okay.
Oh, God,
Anyway,
all right, listen.
yeah, we're gonna.
Wait, we're gonna all pray for Veronica.
Please.
Amen. Our time is about up, and this is what I have
Yeah,
to
we
say.
can debate
on
on that
behalf of
everything.
every lady here, we want to thank you, our viewing audience, those of you who support us and support Nat. We want to thank Manhattan Neighborhood Network for allowing us to have a venue that we get to have conversations like this. And quite honestly, the ladies and I want to thank Nat. Nat, we love you so much. And just in case enough people didn't tell you, we respect you, we honor you, we are just in awe of your knowledge and your intelligence.
Yes.
And we want to say thank you for allowing us to have Takeover Tuesday. We love you, Nat.
Thank
we
you,
love
Nat.
30 frames a
do.
second.
We do.
Right, ladies?
Yes.
Yes, we do.
Happy holidays,
Happy
please.
Merry Christmas,
we will
happy
see you on after the new year. Have a happy 2018.
And PS 57 in East Harlem, 176 East 115th Street is having a Christmas Carol revisited. It's free.
Oh, that's
Please
nice.
bring the family, bring the children. You know, sometimes within our community, we can't afford to take our kids to see the Rockettes off Broadway. And these are professionals within our community doing a Christmas Carol revisited. It's Saturday, December 16th and Sunday, December 17th. There's a 2 p.m. show. There's a 6 p.m. show. And the location is in the auditorium of PS 57. It's 176 East
Google
115th
it.
Street.
Get on the computer and just Google it.
And I believe Reverend Al Sharpton is giving away turkeys this weekend.
Excellent.
If you go to the National Action Network website
I want a free
to
turkey.
see,
I
want a free
give back.
turkey.
That's the most important thing. Give back because
Deep
there's so
fry
many
mine.
people
I
out
want
there
one.
that is in need, and we don't know that. I mean, look, homelessness is 68,000 in New York City. 24,000 of them are children. We have to recognize and protect and nurture and support our own. So please do that and support
Sheila, I
black
think we're about to
businesses.
go
80-82 West 126th Street. We're serving dinner at 2 o'clock on Sunday afternoon. The church family is getting together to celebrate the holiday. Drop on by.
Bye, boys and girls. Thank you very much. We love you, Nat. That's all
Thank you, Nat.
we can say.
And I'm not crazy though, okay?
Yeah,
No,
you
you're
are.
not.
Yeah, you are.
We're just
Yeah,
gonna
you
give
are.
her some
she
more
is.
Pitbull
But she
living.
talented
Pitbull,
crazy.
help.
She a talented crazy. You know you all got uncles you keep
That's
locked
okay,
upstairs
just
in the
don't
bedroom.
riot.
We're going to
love
sit
you,
down
Nat.
with this life appraisal and forgiveness.
Happy New Year, ladies. Let's
Happy
say it.
New Year.
Happy New Year.